It's Howdy Doody time. No, it's not. This is the WDW Fan Zone show, and tonight I am joined by Kurt, Jess, John, and I saved the best for last. Lottie is back. Welcome back, Lottie. So Lottie has had a lot going on in her life lately, and all good. And I think you should tell our listeners and viewers what's going on.
Oh, wow. Thanks for not kicking me off the show for being gone so long.
I would never do that.
I had a fantastic 6-night cruise and got some peace and quiet alone. It was amazing. But that was just the icing on the cake after I was announced as 2024, 2025 Obama USA Leaders Cohort. It's a pretty big deal according to my husband, but I've got
us too.
Yeah.
6 months of amazing coming up. But good thing that those meetings are usually on Friday, so that shouldn't interfere too much with the show.
It's all right. It's all good stuff. And I hope you are very successful in helping the foundation reach and surpass its goals.
Pretty cool opportunity. I'm excited.
That's great. All right. Well, we're here for another reason. I mean, that's a great reason to be here. But Lottie, I'm sorry, we're not going to talk about you all night, although we would like to.
No, you don't need to. It's fine.
So on that note, we're going to turn things over to Jess now, who's got the latest Walt Disney World news.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody. The Disney Accessibility Program, or DAS, has changed recently. Instead of the eligibility being only for 30 days before renewing, it is now the length of your ticket or 240 days, whichever comes first. There will be a new Behind the Scenes tour from November 29th through December 30th in Epcot's The Land, Glimmering Greenhouses. It will be offered at 6 and 7 p.m., and you will get to see the greenhouses up close at night and lit up. Reservations are on sale now online and at the My Disney Experience app. Tickets are $45 a person, and the regular Behind the Scenes tour is still available during the day. The Candy Cauldron in the west side of Disney Springs has reopened after refurbishment. Get your favorite Disney candy and treats here. Everything Pop at Pop Century was supposed to be done with refurbishment on September 29th, but it has been extended until November 30th. And don't forget to check your park hours before planning your trip, and check again once you arrive to see if they've changed. The Walt Disney World area is expecting some stormy days ahead, but the temps seem to be dropping. That isn't always cooling, though, because the humidity has been insane. Plan for hot and scattered rain. And that's the latest Disney news, straight to you from Central Florida. Back to you, Stuart.
Great. Thank you, Jess. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you so much. You too.
Looking forward to the news next week, as are all our listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much. See you real soon.
See you soon. So I should have asked Jess, the Behind the Scenes tour, since you're behind the scenes, do the greenhouses give off gases? Just asking for a friend, actually.
That is a great tour.
Womp womp.
And inexpensive.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. So Disney World property. I can't tell you how many times when my kids were little. I don't know if you guys had the same experience with your kids, Lottie and Kurt, where you're rushing through the parks because you want to get so many things done in a day. Go back to your hotel. You want to eat. You want to rest. You want to go to the pool. That there are some things that you might just overlook that is staring you right in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, that's changed a little bit with, living down here myself now, because I can go to the parks. If I miss getting on an attraction, I can actually just go there to walk around, stare up, stare down, and look all around. And it does make a difference. And that's why I thought about this topic for the show this week, because I think a lot of people, they come down here and they're concerned with mainly two things: where they're sleeping for the couple of hours, where they're eating for a few minutes, and all the attractions they can get on in a single day. So, I don't know if you guys want to go park to park or just mention some of the things that you overlook. Well, I don't want to go park to park because we're not confined to the parks. We're all over the place. Lottie, since you haven't been here in a while, why don't you start us off with something that you think people overlook?
This is at the top of my list, and I'm hesitant to say it because I want people to keep overlooking it because then I can enjoy it all to myself. But and of course, typical Lottie, but the bars at the hotels, a lot of people don't pay attention to them at all, especially if they're not staying at that particular hotel. The last time I went without kids, I did monorail bar crawl. I hopped on the monorail and I stopped and went to the bar at Grand Floridian, which is the Enchanted Rose, and then I went to the Ohana Lounge at Polynesian, and then I can't remember the lounge that's at Contemporary. That's right on the
She
other
was drunk by that time.
Yeah, right. Yes, Outer Rim.
Outer Rim.
They're all fantastic places. They all have great drink menus, and I just wish more people would take the time to stop and enjoy them.
Didn't they used to have like an official monorail bar crawl? There was like an option or something?
I don't know.
There was a dining in bar thing together. I think you're right, Kurt.
There's some really cool bars that people always go to. Trader Sam's.
Yes, that I know.
Everybody's at that one, but Outer Rim is a nice quiet spot, especially if you want to watch the game.
I'll be the first one to admit I always overlook the bars. I don't drink.
I do not see an official Disney bar crawl. However, every guide has a monorail pub crawl guide. So you are correct. That is a thing.
Well, I think there might have been in the past, some years ago. And I don't know that it was for a long time.
No, I want to say it was like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there it was.
I don't remember there being anything official. I just know that I had some time to waste, and it was an evening. Maybe I was there for a conference or something, and I didn't have a park ticket, so I can't remember exactly the circumstances, but I just remember having a great time.
You were drinking too heavily to remember this circumstance.
Apparently, I was.
For the show, Lottie never drinks. Just saying.
On the show.
Shirley Temples and Diet Coke. Although Shirley Temples are loaded with sugar. Do they make Diet Shirley Temples? Somehow I doubt it.
I don't think so. I don't think
so either.
Kind of defeats the purpose.
without sugar.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, Shirley Temple was, this whole sweet little thing.
I couldn't even tell you what is in a Shirley Temple.
It was like Hawaiian Punch and Sprite.
It's grenadine and Sprite.
There you go.
There you go.
When I was 13, I was at an affair, an event, a bar mitzvah of a
Does
friend.
Michelle know?
I was 13.
Oh, okay.
And all us kids, we were at the bar ordering Shirley Temple after Shirley Temple. I feel sorry for whoever that bartender was that night or day rather. We must have driven him nuts.
And no tips. Our 13-year-old kids.
Yeah, what 13-year-old kid had money back then?
Oh, no one.
All right, John.
I'm gonna I have something that's a little bit different, and I think that's why it can be overlooked. And that is, I think guests overlook recognizing the excellent service they get from cast members.
Yes,
And
I think that's a big one.
It's so easy to do now. You can do it right from the My Disney Experience mobile app. But we've said before how the cast members are what differentiates Disney parks from other parks. And so if we want to keep getting that kind of service, I think it's really important for us to recognize them. And I'm guilty of this too. I overlook it. And I need to do more to recognize them. So I think that's a good reminder for our listeners to take the time, even if it's just a few moments, to send a quick recognition through the cast member compliments section of the My Disney Experience app.
We've done that. I want to say now it's probably close to 2 years ago. We were in the park with neighbors of ours who were one of them was in a scooter, and the scooter stopped working. And this was an Animal Kingdom, and the cast member went above and beyond to help us out and get the scooter working properly again. He didn't have to do it. He had other functions to do, and he was more than happy to just stop his responsibilities at work to help us out to make our day, I guess, as normal as could be. And he did. He got the scooter working for us, which I thought was fantastic.
And that's something that you will remember much longer than any experience at a restaurant, any experience on an attraction.
I agree.
And that's what deepens our affinity for these parks.
Yeah. All right, Kurt.
Okay, so back in the day, I don't know if you guys know this, but Disney Hollywood Studios was actually a working animation studio. I know, shocking. So one of the things you used to be able to do was you could go in and you could actually draw. They taught you how to draw a figure, whether it was Mickey or Donald or Winnie the Pooh, whoever. And I was talking with my sister the other day, and she's like, "Oh, you're not going to believe this. My friend was over at Disney last week, and she drew a picture again. Remember when they used to do that over there at Disney Hollywood Studios in animation?" I go, yeah. She goes, "You can still do it." I go, "Yeah, I know." She goes, "It's somewhere in Animal Kingdom." I go, "Yeah, it's Rafiki's Planet Watch."
Right.
No idea. She had no idea. She goes, "How come we never do that?" I go, "Because my kids are horrible artists in their minds and they don't want to draw. So they don't want to go out there just to draw a picture when they don't like the way it looks." I've got them framed downstairs from when they were little kids, but they're like, "I already did that. I don't want to do it." But you can still do the drawing. You can go back to Rafiki's Planet Watch. Now it's more they're all animals, but it's more animal related to things like movies that revolve around animals. So you're going to see more Simbas.
Yeah, I think that's a hidden gem. When I say hidden gem, you're right. It's people overlook that all the time. They run to the petting zoo if they even go there, and they leave.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. All right. Since Lottie mentioned the resorts before, I'm going to stick on the resorts too. This time I'm going to mention, and I know it's not every restaurant, but there are a lot of restaurants at the resorts, sit-down restaurants, that guests just seem to overlook. One I can remember very clearly. We went to Olivia's, which is in Old Key West, maybe within the last 6 months, and it was empty when we got there. Then another couple of tables filled up, but it's like, the food is excellent. And it's like, where was everybody? Why weren't they here eating dinner or lunch? Or, I think it's just dinner they serve. I'm not even sure. But I was shocked that it was empty.
I think they're open all day.
Oh, maybe they are. It could very well be. Could be. I don't know what their hours are, to be honest with you. But I was just shocked that here we are. It was prime time for dinner. I think it was 6:30, and it was empty. And when we left, there was still just a few tables there that had guests. So fill up that restaurant. Food's good, and there are other restaurants too at other resorts. Same thing. You'll find resorts like Chef Mickey's is always going to be crowded, but people overlook the other restaurant. There's so many restaurants at the resorts that offer wonderful food. Boma's another one that usually gets very crowded, but all right, Lottie, I won't mention any more about that. But it's there's another one. Where is it? By the not the beach? Is it the Beach Club? There's another restaurant around there. There's an Italian restaurant over there. I forget the name of it offhand. That never is crowded.
Trattoria al Forno.
That's it. The food's really good.
It is. That branzino is so good there, and they debone it right there at the table. It's amazing.
Yeah. Just to follow up, Olivia's has brunch from 7:30 to 2, and then they're closed for 3 hours and reopen at dinner from 5 to 9.
Okay.
That's probably why you thought they were only open for dinner.
Yeah, it could be. That could be. I'm getting old. I don't remember anything anymore.
I just stayed there. That's the only reason why we knew it was open. We saw people coming in and out during the day.
Yeah. All right, Lottie, we are back to you.
So this one is from Charlotte. She wanted to make sure that I said that people tend to overlook the butterfly garden that's at Epcot during the Flower and Garden Festival.
Yep. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And it's a great space to teach kids. Flower and Garden Festival is during the school year. So you're like, if your kids are school age, they're missing school usually to be at the park. So it's a great lesson for them to learn.
Oh, yeah, it is. And it won't bug you out.
Biology.
Yeah. All the different stages of butterflies. And it's right there in front of you. And the flowers are amazing. And it's great picture taking. And it's just a really cool spot.
Yeah, it is. It can get very crowded in there too. But by crowded in there could be 10 people in there, and it's just take your time going through there, and make sure you do go through it when the next Flower and Garden Festival comes along. It is a great attraction, and I call it an attraction because it is an educational one, like Kurt said.
If you're taking pictures, you see something, have your camera ready.
Yes,
because the butterflies don't sit around. They're like,
that's right. They'll fly right by you.
Boom, gone, and then you can't find the butterfly. It's gone. It's on the other side of the room.
It's amazing how they stay in there with all the guests that come in and out, but they do. All right, John.
Well, I'm gonna follow on with what you had to say, Stuart, about the restaurants in the resorts, and just expand it and say that so many people overlook resort hopping. They go to one resort, they stay in the room, and they go to the parks, and they miss out on the other resorts. And so, like you said, there's a lot of great restaurants there, but they also have their own unique gift shops, especially resorts like Animal Kingdom Lodge, Polynesian. Wilderness Lodge has some unique things, although it's not a very big one. But you can find gifts you're not going to find in other places or in the parks, along with some of the things you can find in the parks. Holiday decorations. So if, especially, the end of the year holidays or Halloween, there's some great decorations in the different resorts that you can miss out on, that you won't see those decorations anywhere else. And even just to get an idea of a different resort you might want to stay at sometime. So if you go walk around a resort, you might get the idea, hey, this is some place I'd like to stay. And if you never go and do that resort hopping, you don't get to see some of that. Food courts, there's some unique food courts out there. The one thing I will say is you do have to be mindful of transportation. So these days you can't just drive up, especially to deluxe resorts, and expect to get in. So for those deluxe resorts, you're likely going to have to use Disney transportation to get to them, unless you've got a reservation for dinner, let's say, or breakfast at that resort.
Yeah, if you don't have a reservation, it's not hard to get a last-minute reservation. People
you don't even have to do a reservation at a table service. You could just order. So, like, we went in for the just quick service. We just had to show the guy that we had an order ready, and he goes, "Click," and I'm like, "Okay, thank you." So you want to make sure it went through.
They do keep a list of guests that have reservations at the deluxe resorts. So you will be stopped by security, and if you don't have a reservation or an order waiting for you, they will turn you around. So
a lot of times
you're driving your own car.
Yeah, they have very limited parking.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, the only other way you can get in is if you're going to visit somebody, and you better know the room number, or else they're not going to let you in.
Yeah. We went to visit John once, and we had his room number. They called John, and John went, "Who?"
I remember that.
Yeah. All right, Kurt, you're up.
Okay. Again, everyone wants to run down Main Street. There's this big, as Walt called it, the big weenie at the end of the street. So there's Cinderella Castle. It's the most photographed castle in the world, even though it's not real. Everyone runs straight there, or they stop on Main Street and get their picture taken right there. And what are they ignoring? Everybody that did something important is on a window, either on the left or the right side. Take your time, look at all those photos or all those pictures. They're all hand painted on the glass windows. Some of the names you'll recognize, some of them you won't. You can do a little research, click it up on your phone. There's also a cast member door for all the cast members that have ever helped out. And that's on the Emporium side over near where the magic shop used to be. But just look at all the hidden details that are, it's right there in front of you. It's smack in your face. People just don't see it. They walk right past it.
Yeah, that's very true. My favorite window is Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. That was
Donald's nephews, right?
Well, the highest window on the left-hand side happens to be for Frank Wells, for his love of being at the top of all the mountains. It's how he lost his life, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. Disney could use another Frank Wells to come along, but
that would be great.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to. Where am I going to go now? I did have something in mind. Well, give me a second here. I'll remember what I was going to say.
In a park?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the smells. The smells in the parks. Each park has, especially Magic Kingdom, unique smells. Like people notice the popcorn smell, but they don't realize it's being pumped in.
It smells, sir.
Yeah. Pay attention to the smells. You still get that orange smell in Soarin'. The oranges aren't there anymore. There's something else there, but it covers up the scene with the orange smell, so you don't smell what's really going on in that scene. But yeah, it's a lot of people just overlook it. They notice it for a split second, but they're paying so much attention to other things that are going on in the park, like their children, or getting to the next attraction, that they don't really take the time to enjoy the smells that they're smelling.
Because we all love the smell of the water in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah, yeah. You get the good with the bad.
Someone made a candle of that scent. I don't know. Go figure.
Oh my god! And I wonder how many people bought that.
I did. It's fantastic.
There you go.
Really?
Yes, I did buy it. It's my favorite.
Do you like that better than you also got the Fall of Rome, and I know you said it smelled like your house was burning down or something.
Yeah,
love that. I love that smell. The Fall of Rome. That's in Spaceship
you
Earth.
can only handle that for like 10 minutes. Outside of that, you don't want to smell it anymore. Yeah.
And then there are a couple. We're not going to mention any of the other unpleasant smells that you might come across. That we'll leave out of this, but there were plenty of good ones. Chocolate chip cookies, the hot chocolate. If you're going to the Mickey's the after Christmas party, whatever they call it now.
Not so, or Mickey's Very Merry.
Very Merry. That's
Christmas party.
Yeah. All right, Lottie, you are back up.
The games on your Play Disney app.
Yes.
One of my favorites is the DuckTales World Showcase Adventure game. Very few people, very few kids actually know that this exists. My kids absolutely love it. Actually, Kyle loves it too. There's the one, the Soarin' challenge that you can play while you're waiting in line for Soarin'. There is the games when you're in line for Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run. Both have games.
Just walking around, but two.
Yeah, just walking around. There are tons of games on the Play Disney app, and they give you an opportunity to interact with the environment.
Right.
I think folks overlook those. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, John.
I'm going to go to mobile ordering at the counter service, and a lot of people are mobile ordering these days. But I think something that a lot of people overlook is starting your mobile order early. So if you want something for lunch and it's 12 o'clock and you think, okay, I'm going to mobile order for Pecos Bills or Cosmic Ray, you might see that you've got a 45-minute wait.
At least.
Or even longer. So if you've got busy days or events, you might even have much longer. So don't overlook being prepared, thinking about where you're going to want to eat ahead of time. At least go into the app and look to see what the current wait time is, and then you can book your meal ahead of time. It could be an hour ahead of time. If you know what you want at 7 a.m. and you're going to eat at 12, go ahead and book it so that you know you've got it and you don't have to stand around waiting, which is going to be wasting time where you could be doing other things you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. All right. Kurt.
I was paying too much attention to John. Oh, overlook things to do. Did you know that, well, I don't know if they're out on the island anymore or not. Over in Frontierland, at least there used to be a couple places, you could just sit down and play checkers. I know there's places in the resorts where you could literally just sit down and play checkers. So there's games available everywhere. Or stand up, yeah.
Yeah, so if you go out back of Bay Lake Tower, they've got a checkerboard and a chessboard.
Oh.
It's like life size.
Yeah. Or outside the back of Boardwalk, they have on a barrel, I think, or on a table. I think they have it out there.
Yeah, and I know they've got it over in Wilderness Lodge. Also has it. Just we could sit down. Just in other words, relax, take a deep breath, and just relax. You don't have to be running all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a big problem with guests on Disney property. They're running all the time or waiting in line, one of the two.
Correct.
Yeah. Where am I going here?
Somewhere Disney.
Oh, yeah. I think what a lot of people overlook, you can tell I'm like, my mind is not here tonight. Sorry, guys. But what a lot of people I think overlook is they want to get to park and spend as much time there. But, you know, if you love the parks, don't you want to see what some of the resorts look like? So on another trip, you might want to know a little bit more about that resort. The monorail is a great way to do it by going to the Contemporary, the Polynesian, or you could take a bus from one of the parks to a resort you're not staying at because you might want to consider it for a future trip. And you want to see what they have to offer. There's different restaurants in the resorts. That's how we used to go see the resorts when my kids were little. We would leave the parks and we'd make sure we'd have a couple of sit-down meals at resorts that we weren't staying at so we could enjoy the food that's offered there and also learn about that resort for possibly a future trip. All right, Lottie,
I always see super ridiculously long lines at Starbucks. People forget that Joffrey's is there.
Joffrey's is right there.
Right there.
And I don't like Starbucks, so I would go to Joffrey's, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and arguably they've got much better treats and coffee selections than the Starbucks at the park does.
How's the price comparatively?
I don't pay attention to what stuff costs in the park.
You're at Disney World. Of course
coffee.
it's expensive.
It's coffee. $8, $12. What's the difference?
Well, if it's less expensive, that's a selling point.
Well, it probably is less expensive, but they just, for me, they've got better offerings, and they're not things that I like. I can go home. I can be at home, and I can go up the street and get Starbucks. I can't go up the street and get Joffrey's. I can't get they had some lavender something or other that was really tasty the last time I was there, and I don't understand. If you need coffee, Starbucks is great, but you've got the opportunity to have something different, and the line is much shorter. Go somewhere else.
Yeah,
you're right.
Love their donuts. They're blue and pink donuts.
I haven't been there yet, and I'm not going to mention the name of it. There's a place in Florida where they get their donuts from, and the lines can go around and outside the store. And I keep wanting to go there on a weekend to get them, and I keep getting distracted with
you have to let me know after the show tonight, because I'll have time in October.
I will. All right, who's up, John?
That's me. And here's something that I have overlooked to this day, and I want to stop overlooking it, but and maybe October's the time, but you can get a haircut on Main Street, USA, in the Magic Kingdom at the Harmony Barbershop. And you have to make a reservation. Usually you have to make a reservation, but such an amazing different kind of experience to treat yourself, and they're inexpensive from what I understand. I don't know.
Well, again, not a lot there.
Well,
I did it a few years ago, and they literally only charged me $5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That isn't expensive.
Yeah.
So, and they're like, because they used to put the Mickey Mouse on the back of your head, and they're like, look, they basically charged me $1 a minute for how long it took them to do my hair. And it was
$1 a minute or $1 a hair.
Well, that's about it too. That's about it. Because they also had to put in the Mickey back there, and then they do the whole Tinkerbell thing with the confetti and everything. It was really cool. It's quite the experience. And yes, you can get the haircut, and yes, they will ask you if you want the gel in there where they put in the hidden Mickey gel. And yes, we did it. And then didn't wear a hat that day, and the whole top of my head got beat red, and I wear a hat from now on, and I just don't get my hair cut there anymore, unfortunately, because you do need the reservations now. So, so my $5 haircut that was, I believe it was 10 or 12 years ago, now is probably a $10 haircut.
Yeah, but it's
still worth it.
It's a unique treat for yourself. I just did put it on my list of things to look for in October. Starting
never got a haircut at Disney World. Probably never will. Not that I wouldn't, if I didn't live here, maybe I would try it one time, but just don't need to.
It's pretty cool. They use the old style cutters. So it's whack. Yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. The shears.
Yeah, I like the person who cuts my hair. Doesn't charge me a lot either.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah,
so I recently went down to Florida with someone, and we offered to ride the monorail, and they said, no, that's okay. They didn't know if there was going to be such a good idea. So instead, we drove around in that area. And then they regretted not being able to ride the monorail. They're like, oh, that might have been fun. So you could literally ride the monorail without a ticket. So, because I'm not going to go to the details how to get there. We'll just say the fact that there was someone with us that was an annual pass holder, so they could get us into parking for free. You can go right into the Ticket and Transportation Center and ride either the monorail around just the lagoon, or you can take you want a nice long ride to see, just relaxing. Go take the monorail over to Epcot. You'll go into Future, whatever they're calling it now, Future World. Go all the way around Spaceship Earth, and then it docks. Just don't leave, and go back to where you were.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very relaxing ride. It's very, very soothing. It's calm. There aren't a lot of people on your monorail, so not in your car. So hey, it's something to do. When we stay at Bay Lake Tower, that's one of the days we go to Epcot. We always have to take the monorail.
I would call the monorail one of the most underrated attractions of all of Disney World, because people just take it for granted to get from point A to point B. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the ride, and like I said, just relax while you're on the monorail. Mm-hmm. And yes, folks, it is air conditioned.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Also true.
Yeah. All right. You know what, Kurt? I'm going to stay right where you are, but I'm not going to get on the monorail. I'm going to take the ferry over to the Magic Kingdom. And there are other boat rides elsewhere, but that's all often overlooked. There's not much to do on the ship, but there's a lot to see. So keep your eyes peeled and enjoy relaxing, slow, not too slow, ride over from the transportation center to the Magic Kingdom.
And then you could walk the bridge back to the Grand Floridian.
Yep. Yeah, you could. All right. Lonnie.
Here's another one from Charlotte. She mentioned Divine, specifically at Animal Kingdom, but a lot of folks miss out on the street performers and the neat little things that they just leave the actors that are in the parks doing different
Divine
things.
could be a little stiff, so it's easy to miss.
What are the folks called at Hollywood Studios? I can't think of their name. And then there's the
Citizens of Hollywood.
Citizens of Hollywood, and the guys that are in Africa over at Animal Kingdom, and
yep,
Kevin.
Yeah, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. It's really I'm sleepy. The Dapper Dans, right?
Yeah, Dapper Dan. Is the talking trash can still there?
No.
No, that's been gone for years.
No, but the Jammers are still there.
Jammers, yeah. People just walk right by them. Like it's excellent entertainment.
Voices of Liberty.
Voices of Liberty. That's another one. If they give me goosebumps every time I go hear them. They're so good. Yeah. So that one's from Charlotte. She said Divine, but I'm adding other performers that are not part of an attraction.
Yeah, good. That's really good. Yeah, that is often overlooked. All right, John.
I think something that some guests overlook is that there's many times more than one option for transportation from your resort to the parks, or even between the parks. So a lot of time guests will look for the buses, but you talked about it, Stuart. Certainly there's the ferry that you can get from the ticket and transportation center into the Magic Kingdom, but depending on where you're staying, there's actually three resorts from which I've walked to the Magic Kingdom. There's certainly the monorail. Some resorts it's best to take the bus because it drops you off right up front. The Epcot, depending on where you're staying, you can walk into Epcot from the International Gateway. You can certainly take a bus. From some resorts, you can take the Friendship boats. The Skyliner is an option. Disney Springs has the Friendship boats as an option from some of the resorts as well. Disney Hollywood Studios, some of the same things for Epcot. So if you're looking to go somewhere, don't just think about one way. Look at the different options and try to figure out which one's best for you. Uber and Lyft. So I've never taken a minivan, but The minivans that are use Lyft are an option. Certainly, going to cost you a little bit, but Uber is a great way to get from resort to resort instead of having to take some convoluted bus combination. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you went to, like you said, to another resort to get something for dinner, instead of having to take a couple of means of transportation to get back to your resort, Uber and Lyft are good options there. Certainly, there are a lot of Disney cast members that work as Uber and Lyft drivers, and it's fun to talk to them. You know, you get to hear some things from cast members you wouldn't necessarily hear when they're on stage in the parks. Some good insight.
Very true.
You have to, again, research before you leave. We really wanted to take the boat from Old Key West over to downtown Disney. When we were there, there was a slight drought going on. The water wasn't very deep, so the boats were not running. I don't think they have a problem with that right now, judging from the videos I've been seeing over at the Magic Kingdom recently. But depending on the time of year, they do have that drought in the early spring.
Yep.
There's a possibility you can't take the boat. So take advantage of when you can.
Yeah. Yeah. This past summer, we had a decent amount of rain. However, last summer, it was hot, dry. So I'm glad we had a decent amount of rain this year. Hopefully we won't get drenched with another hurricane that goes anywhere in Florida. We've had our share of them. We don't need any more. So keep the hurricanes away. Keep the guests coming to the parks and keep the hurricanes away. I guess I'm up.
You skipped me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kurt.
Now I got to think of it. No. Walk around. When you go to Disney Springs, everyone wants to go to the Disney stores. There are so many stores in there. Go look at other stores. Dooney and Burke has special Disney purses. Okay, so actually they did. I don't know if they still do. They might have lost their licensing for that. Lottie's giving me that look.
I just bought one.
Okay, so they do still have it. Okay, at our local Dooney and Burke store, maybe they don't have them outside anymore. She said the licensing left, but maybe that was just for them. I don't know.
I think it's still available at the parks only.
That could be it then, because they are supposed to be park exclusive type things. This was at an outlet mall. But anyways, hey, they've got them. There's a lot of other places, so they've got something that might be Disney themed a little bit. Either way, or hey, you could still buy something that isn't Disney. So look around. Take your time. Take a day away from the parks and just walk around there. You could spend an entire day there, and trust me, you'll get your steps in. It's crazy how many steps you can walk.
Definitely get your steps in.
And it's always changing. Some of those little kiosks out there. I know my sister had bought this. It was a plant from a guy. When we were there in January, we went back in June. She wanted to get a second one, and the guy was gone. So it is ever changing, and just walk around. Doesn't always have to just be Disney exclusive.
Yeah.
And that Lego store that's there, actually, there are times you can find something at that Lego store that you can't find anywhere else because they are one of their top tier Lego stores. So
I can imagine. Yeah. All right. If you're staying on Disney property at a Disney resort, the wake-up call from Mickey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
And people just don't take advantage of it because they set their alarm on their watch or their phone. Yep. Get that Mickey wake-up call, especially if you have kids in the room with you. That just gets them even more excited for the day ahead of them.
Let them answer the phone when it comes.
Yeah, exactly. Say, hey, it's for you.
Do the kids nowadays even know that's a phone, right? Who they think, the brick that's in your pocket is a phone.
Yeah, that's true. You want me to answer what?
Right.
The phone. What? That It looks like mouse ears.
That thing with a cord on it.
Cord on it, right?
So, can I do a quick side story regarding to the phone call like that?
No.
Okay, good. So about 15 years ago, we took my wife had a trip out in California. We went out to visit her. We went to Legoland, and because of the location where she was at, the kids are like, "Can we go to Disneyland?" Because we've always just every year we go to Disney World. They don't even ask if we're going; it's where are we staying. So they wanted to go to Disneyland. We're like, "Well, we can't. It's like 3 hours north." And at the time, they were young enough that they weren't going to research anything. So like, fine. So we kind of said we're going to play it by ear, which should have been setting off bells and whistles in the brain, because we never just do anything just playing it by ear. And we woke up on the Saturday morning after my wife was done with everything, and the phone rang, and my wife put it on speakerphone, and it was Mickey giving a wake-up call saying, "We can't wait to see you today." And my kids are like half paying attention. I'm like, "Isn't that cool?" And they're like, "Why are you doing this? We're not going there." My wife walked around the corner with 2 shirts that said "My first trip to Disneyland."
Oh, that's
and they're like,
so cool.
"We're going to Disneyland?" And then we spent 3 days at Disneyland.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
So yeah, you can surprise. You can still surprise the kids even if they go every year.
Well, do you want me to tell you guys my surprise Disney story with my kids?
No, Mojo's enough. Sorry. Back at you.
So, we would go, every couple of years, and so that in itself isn't a surprise. But this time we said, okay, we're not going to tell the kids. We're going to tell them we're going to a beach resort instead. And then we wind up pulling to the airport, and one of my kids, I don't remember which one, said, it goes, "Are we going to Disney World?" Because clearly we weren't going to a beach resort. We gave them some lame excuse, and I guess they guessed it, and you would think they would be excited. Well, my daughter was crying. Tears were rolling down her eyes. They were looking so forward to going to a beach resort.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. Once we got to Disney World, they had a great time. But the next year we had to go to a beach resort.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's about
I guess we played the Disney card one too many times with them. Who goes? Oh, I go, don't I? No, I just went. Lottie, you're up.
So Charlotte she's really into the show today. And so
no, let's get her on.
Right. She could step in for me when I'm not available. She could just join.
There you go.
So she gave me a note card. It actually has a picture on it, and it says the crown in Germany, CJF, and then on the middle of the crown is a Mickey. So I think what she's talking about is all of the hidden Mickeys that are all over the parks.
Yep.
People, the Imagineers planted these hidden Mickeys everywhere, and the diehard fans know to look for them, but just the average Joe going to the park may not know to look for them. And I think she drew a picture of this one because that's one of her favorite hidden Mickeys to show people.
Yeah.
I need to know where that's at.
It's in Germany. There's 3 statues on the right on the top of the building, and the one in the middle has a crown, and it has a Mickey right in the center of the crown.
Okay.
Since we're on hidden Mickeys, there's also a hidden Donald Duck. If you're in the Haunted Mansion, you know that in the room with the ghost dancing around? If you look at the chair, I forgot which chair it is, but one of the chairs, there's a hidden Donald Duck there.
It's the chair on the left-hand side of the never-ending hallway. Is it still there?
Yep. Yep, it's still there. So that's something else that's often overlooked. Like, I didn't know about the one in Germany until you mentioned that now, Lottie. Not that I go looking for hidden Mickeys all the time, but I have done that.
Why were hidden Mickeys invented? Why did that start?
Why they were, I think if I remember the story correctly, that they started putting them in Epcot because they did not have Disney characters at all in the parks. And that was Imagineer's way of hiding Mickey in the theme park.
Correct. Yeah, that first year they're open, they wanted a separate entity. They didn't want it to be all the Disney characters. And I literally walked around that first year it was 82, so I was young-ish. And I remember walking around and being like, where are the characters? How is this Disney? There's nothing here. So, and then shortly thereafter is when Figment came into play, and that was the only character. And then Eisner came in and said, what the heck? Where are the characters? Boom. Right. Now they were in every corner. Now it felt Disney. So,
yeah.
Yes, I love Hidden Mickeys.
I do too.
Yep, me too. And there's a great book out on Hidden Mickeys. I don't know if he's revised or updated recently, but Dr. Steve Barrett has a book.
Sent a few of them.
Yep.
Yep.
Great guy. All right, John.
I think that guests, they certainly may or may not do some planning, and they have to have a hotel. But after reserving your hotel, I think a lot of guests overlook that they have the opportunity to request a room preference. So if you want your room to be near the elevators or far away from the elevators because you don't want to hear the noise going by, or close to the lobby, or in a particular section of a resort like Coronado Springs or Caribbean Beach, because they've got a lot of different areas, you can request a room preference. You can't change, from a garden view to a theme park view, or from a standard view to a garden view or pool view, but you can give a general request instead of getting assigned a room that maybe it's too far away from the elevator or too far away from the lobby or whatever. You've heard Kurt say before, places like Bay Lake Tower, you can actually get a partial Magic Kingdom view, even though the room is not specifically a theme park view. So guests can overlook that they've got the opportunity to make those requests and maybe improve their room and improve their location and stay by doing so.
Yeah, I agree.
I've been burned by that before. Usually it works out well, but we had to add a day on. We had we wanted something close to the restaurant, whatever that's called, the closer areas. We're staying at Pop Century, and we added a day on. And when we added on the day, they're like, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Rather than doing a split stay, I got a great room for you guys. You're going to love it. It was the farthest room from anything. It was the last room that you could get. And I don't know why she thought we were going to love that room.
Are they pulling your,
yeah, I don't know. We're going for a long weekend. They're like, are you celebrating anything? I go, yeah, actually it's our 25th anniversary. So we're looking for something that'll be right here over by the Skyway. And yeah, it was
I was trying to give you
quarter
privacy.
and a half mile walk.
There you go.
Yeah, it wasn't even that much privacy.
In the NFL draft, the last pick of the draft is called Mr. Irrelevant. Well, you got the irrelevant.
That's what we were. We were there on our 25th Mr. Irrelevant party. So celebration, I guess I should say. So it kind of goes with what Lottie was saying. We always walk around. I just got done saying, hey, look up. Look, Stuart said, look up, look down, look around, take in the details. Take in the details from different angles. If something looks, you look at something, you're like, that's intriguing. Why would that be there? Look at it from a different angle. You can go to the water fountains behind Cinderella Castle, and there's a bronze Cinderella. And if you look up above, there's a crown that's way above her head. And you're like, well, that's intriguing. Well, it's not meant for your view. Get down at the view of that little kid that's looking up to get their drink of water, and you'll realize at the right angle looking up, the crown goes right on Cinderella's head. You just have to get down at the right eye view. So everything is different at different times of the day, too. You could walk right, we're talking Hidden Mickeys, at the viewing area at Kadana Resort. When you go out during the day, there's nothing there. You just, or there's animals, yeah, that's beautiful. When you're coming back in, there's nothing there on the wall. However, at night, the light shines down, so it's dark. And the shadows of the light on the wall illuminate a hidden Mickey that you would never see during the day. So look different times of the day, look all around, take your time and actually look. Don't just, okay, I'm done looking at the obvious. Let's go away now. No, they're everywhere. Look around, see the details that the Imagineers put in.
Yeah. All right. Indiana Jones attraction in Disney's Hollywood Studios. There's a sign that says, "Do not pull this rope." But what happens when you pull this rope? You can hear someone's voice sometimes. Not always, but when it's working
about half the time.
Well, yeah. And that's often overlooked because people look at the sign, "Do not pull this rope." Okay, keep going. No, stop. Pull the rope.
There was the guy who was fixing it. He pulled on it and it worked. I walked over to it because I saw what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And I go, "Can I?" He goes, "Please do." And I yanked on it and it didn't work. He goes, and then my son yanked on it and it worked. He's like, "What angle? What angle?" So they're trying to figure out what angle had to be, where was it working, where wasn't it working.
Wow.
So it's fun.
Yeah. All right. I think we'll do one more
last round.
Yeah. I only have one left.
Oh, good.
So snacks and treats, right? You go, everybody gets the Mickey ice cream bar, Dole Whip, popcorn churro, Mickey pretzel. But there are a whole host of other snacks and treats that people just ignore because they gravitate to the usual suspects, right? A lot of people don't even realize that Dole Whip comes in flavors other than pineapple. My favorite Dole Whip is lime, actually. It's hard to find, but it is my favorite. Just try something different. What are they called? The
Zebra domes?
Yes, the zebra domes over at Animal Kingdom. They kind of have a little bit of a cult following, but most people just they just ignore them. Or the cinnamon rolls over at
Gaston's.
Yeah, you have to remember to ask for extra icing. And
the spring roll cart.
The spring roll cart, right?
Those are so good.
You just the Tamu Tamu refreshments has the Dole Whip with the strawberry topping, and then you can get like coconut or dark rum, added. Delicious. Look for treats that are unexpected, and
that's a good. Yep, and there are a lot of them, and they're constantly. Your favorites stay, but the others are constantly changing, or there's different variations of your favorite, which is also wonderful to see.
So the only place to find a key lime pie Dole Whip is over at Old Key West, except for that my sister, while we were staying there, went a couple days, and it wasn't available. And she's like, "I'll try back tomorrow," and they're like, "The Dole Whip machine's been down for 3 weeks. I don't think it's going to be fixed by tomorrow." How do you have? I mean, how many Dole Whip machines does that place have to have? And it's broken. They couldn't get one replaced. So
I didn't know lime was at Old Key West. I'm going to make sure that
key lime pie. She was ready to leave. She's like, "I'm leaving." We're like, "Bye."
Yeah.
So she was joking. If I don't see it. This will be the one show she watches and be like, "I did not say that." Yeah, you did.
Yeah. All right, John.
I'm not an expert on this one, but one of the things that's overlooked because a lot of guests don't even realize it's there are secret menu items at lots of different restaurants. So when you go to a restaurant, either at a park or at the resorts, ask for whether there are secret menu items, or you can also do some research ahead of time. But there are things that are not printed on the menu that are available. available, and so you heard Lottie talking about a lot of different treats that are available. There's even a lot of other food items that they don't even advertise that you can get.
Yep. I know someone who, when he goes to a Disney restaurant, he goes, "Is there anything that you're offering tonight that's not listed on the menu?"
Yeah.
Rather than say, "Are there any secret?" And the cast member will generally say, "Yes, we have this, this, and this."
There's also some pretty cool ways to look at some of those menus. I don't know if they still have them at, post-COVID, but there used to be viewfinders at
yes,
Pop
Century.
Right.
Pop Century is under, because I had a friend I recommended he give that a try, and Pop Century is currently, well, when they were there in August, closed for refurbishment, and it's not available. Yes, they were available up to that point.
I see a lot of drinks too, Lottie.
Yes.
Who's up?
That would be me.
Okay.
We're so exhausted at the end of the night after walking hours upon hours upon hours upon hours and putting in 12 miles that we missed the kiss goodnight.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if they still do it or not. I know the Globe used to stay open and they'd launch off the fire at the very end of the night for Epcot. Over at the Magic Kingdom, they actually say thank you for coming. They play the When You Wish Upon a Star music at the very end of the night.
And
usually just it goes off over the top. Yeah, leave now or else you're walking back to your hotel, which is over at Animal Kingdom. Good luck. But yeah, just stay for the kiss goodnight. I mean, people walk around over at Pandora an hour after the park is already closed, just taking pictures. It's just all you hear is the music playing lightly and all the water coming down, and everything's just in blue. It's beautiful. Just walk around and take it all in.
Yeah. All right. And I guess this is the final one. There are characters that roam around the parks. There are meet and greets in the parks. You can see, I guess they have some at, the character restaurants. There are some, are there any at the resorts that walk around or? No, there are. Okay. It's been a long time since I've been at a resort to see any of that. But a lot of people, some guests will remember to have their children bring an autograph book or they'll purchase one, but a lot of guests don't. And that's something that's often overlooked because the characters will autograph or will sign their autograph for you. So, just think about it. A young child getting Mickey and Minnie's autograph or Donald Duck or Stitch.
Well, and like you say, bring it with you so because it's going to cost you a lot less. This is a tip that Lottie has shared in the past.
Yes. Yeah. So don't forget those autograph books for your children who will treasure them until they're old enough to go, that's not Mickey. But yeah. All right. I think that's going to do it for us. Well, actually, does anybody have one that they really wanted to mention that they didn't mention yet? Like something that they think is like really overlooked.
Did John just mention the fact that you could bring your own food into the park? Save money.
No, I did not.
Or were you talking about your picture, your autograph book?
Autograph book. You can do that too. Bring your own food.
You can bring your own food in, bring your own water in, bring in a water bottle that's got a Brita filter in it. You can just refill it for free. Yeah. And you'll thank me for it because it makes the water in Florida taste a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for some people because they're on vacation to bring their own food, especially if they're flying in. But yeah, a water bottle with a Brita filter is really good. Really good idea. If you can bring in some food or snacks, you'll save a little bit of money. And I think that is often overlooked because people will complain about the prices of the food at Disney, but they feel like they have no choice but to spend the money there. Well, if you're able to bring food in, go ahead and do it. I mean, we've brought lunch in every now and then, although I prefer not to and eat there because the food's so good.
Well, if your kid's going to get an Uncrustable anyways, do you want to pay $6 for an Uncrustable or buy a pack of 10 for $6?
Right.
They're on, if anybody's a Costco member out there, they're on sale at Costco now. I think it's 10 and change for a box of, I don't know how many are in the
24.
box. Big box.
It's huge. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. All right. That will do it for us tonight. Welcome back, Lottie. We're so thrilled to have you back. Great to see you again. All right. So for the most part, we will be here on Monday nights recording the show. So I don't, whenever you listen to it. So if you're looking for the show Sunday night or Monday morning, a new show, you're not going to find it until Monday night or Tuesday morning. There are some times where we may have to record on a different night, but we're going to try to keep to the Monday night gig. So until next time, everybody, be safe, be yourself. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
See you real soon.
Well, since we're asking you to remember not to overlook things, I have to share with everyone this evening. Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry. And I hope what I did just didn't make you cry, but that you remember to come back, see us next week, share us with your friends, and remember, relax, enjoy your time at the parks, and we'll see you next time. Good night.